Hey
I have,
everybody, good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are when you're listening to this. We're happy to have you here today for part 3 of our series of webinars with Karen, talking about literacy supports for remote learning. My name is Mike Murata. I'm the director of the AT Advocacy Center at Disability Rights New Jersey. There's all our contact information there that you can reach out to us if you'd like. I'm about to jump off and Karen will take us through the rest of the half hour, but I'm glad you're here with us today. Thanks. Hi,
it's
Karen.
great. Hey, Mike, thanks so much for letting me do this. I'm really looking forward to part 4 also, innovative strategies for reaching reluctant writers. But anyway, let's talk today about how we can do remote learning for students who are still learning writing skills. So, hey everybody, I'm Karen Janowski. I'm working out of Reading, Mass. I'm the president of a private practice. We offer assistive technology and augmentative communication services in the greater Boston area. And I'm glad to have you all here. So if you're interested in getting the slides, here is the bit.ly link. It is case sensitive, so just copy it exactly, bit.ly/writing, uppercase W, 415, which is the date today. So it's bit.ly/writing, 415, uppercase W. Oh, and let me open up the chat on the side so I can just see if there's anything going on. Oh, thanks, Mike, for posting that. All right, so in the chat, feel free to post your comments, your questions, your ideas, your strategies. We're all learning from each other. So share whatever you would like to share as well. And also post what you do and where you're from. So let's get right into it, since 30 minutes passes very quickly. What skills are needed for writing and composing text? When you think about what tools to recommend, we also need to consider what are the underlying skills that students need. And it's really like juggling. It's a juggling act, because here's a list of skills that are needed. I mean, you have to have that effective pencil grip. You have to be able to spell. You have to be able to organize your ideas. You have to generate ideas, but hold on to them long enough to get them written out, whether it's through your handwriting, through voice typing, through typing, whatever it is. There's a lot to juggle. And this slide really helps you to identify all of the underlying, or a lot of the underlying factors that need to be considered when you think about writing. And I adapted this from the work of Bridget Nicholson. I do have to give a shout out to Bridget, because she's really changed my thinking about writing, and she's doing some amazing work. She just had where did my captions go? They disappeared. Let's try it again. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, they're showing up now, right? I have no idea why they disappeared. So when we think even about the physical factors, what is the student's stamina for writing? What's in their environment? What's their positioning? What position do they need to be in? Is there an effective lighting? Is the fluorescent lighting interfering with their writing? And then emotional factors. Are they motivated? Are they interested? Is the assignment that they're being asked to do the just right challenge? Because many times if students think that something is too difficult for them, they won't even attempt it. So we want to help them with their self-perception, and also we want to promote independence. So obviously the cognitive factors, we want to think about what's their attention, what's their focus, do they have the active working memory to hold on to the ideas? And then the planning, which is really what we're going to be focusing on, is the pre-writing, the brainstorming, the idea generation, how to even compose the text so that it's grammatically correct, which is also part of the mechanics. Can they capitalize? Do they punctuate? Spelling, what are their spelling skills? So these are some of the factors that we always want to consider when we think about the process of writing. There is so much to juggle. And oftentimes those of us who work in the inclusive technology, assistive technology, educational technology field, we get a lot of referrals for students who struggle in this area. And it's very often that we see meltdowns or refusal or dependence on adults. So we also want to recognize that there are different writing genres, and some students may prefer to write a narrative, just all about me. They might, or something about an area of interest. So it does also impact what the writing expectation is and the writing genre, how motivated and interested a student is. We typically think about the writing process as 4 or 5 steps. The pre-writing brainstorming, leading to the composing, leading to the editing and revising. Some people call that 2 different steps. I'm just combining it here. And then also the final act, which is publishing. So let's talk about the very first step, and we're going to spend a lot of time on the first step. And we often will give students graphic organizers. Has anyone had a student use a graphic organizer like this and have it be as ineffective as this? Can you guess what grade this student is? This was obviously a paper worksheet printed out from Ed Helper, very commonly done. Anyone want to take a guess what grade this student is? 4th grade? Good guess. Anyone else? You're very close. It actually is a 5th grader. And you can see his main topic in the middle is my vacation and what he did on his vacation. And so that's about it. Oh, you went to the mall. They did different things, but it's really, how effective will this particular graphic organizer be? I want to show you another one. These were graphic organizers that were shared with me for students that I evaluated. This particular student, 7th grade, how effective would this be for helping him to then transfer his ideas into something that makes sense? So I did have a student write. Sometimes I ask students to write up, just write me any sentence. I just want to get a sense of your handwriting. And it was pretty classic that this student wrote, "I hate graphic organizers." So, which I think is so classic. And I also love the way he spelled graphic organizers. So it is something we want to keep in mind. But we do always recommend that students get started with, as part of the pre-writing process, getting their ideas down somewhere. So one of the options that's available, and it is a link right in the slide, is the EdTech Toolkit Google site. Includes a lot of graphic organizers that are free and they're digital. And one in particular, so here are some that are app organizers, iOS app, here's some Chrome extensions. I do want to show you this particular one, the interactive graphic organizer, because very often the difficulty for students is in the whole output, the handwritten output, the organization of the space. So just to know that these are, there's a number of free interactive websites, so that interactive graphic organizers that can help students just get started. Because sometimes a blank page is overwhelming, but if we're giving them a linear, or some students benefit better from the linear support, some benefits from, it doesn't really matter. So here's a nice linear tool that you might use, and it does get students started, and they can do it all online. So that's a really good resource to be aware of. Just also know about there's a number of other options too that are all free. I did try to notice today that Inspiration Light, I think it is no longer available. So it did show that it was no longer available in the App Store, but I will have to double check that, because Inspiration to me has been around for easily 25 years, and it was at the forefront of online digital mind mapping, graphic organizing, brainstorming tools. So we'll go back here, and whoops, didn't mean to link again. Let's just go to our next slide. So let's look at some tools for teaching the writing skills, especially in this area of remote learning. So all of those online graphic organizers, they can be shared, they can be emailed back, they can be assigned through Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams, whatever your district is using, Canvas, whatever you're using. But when we think about actually teaching the skills that are needed, there are 3 products in particular that I want to spend some time on and show you that you may be unaware of. One of them is called No Red Ink, and I am going to talk about that a little bit. One of the things that I absolutely love about this product is it allows students to select a number of movies, TV shows, sports, all kinds of different topics that are their interests. And what it does is it customizes assignments around what students have identified as their interests, which is really phenomenal. I am not aware of any other product that has that feature built in. So if I look at that, what we can do now is, this is what the curriculum library looks like. I'm already logged in as with my name. And I just want you to see that they also have a number of different resources that can help you identify where you want to get started with teaching writing skills to your students. So they call these planning diagnostics that you can do at the start of a semester, or unit diagnostics. They're actually pre-assessments. So they help you to understand at the start of a unit, and you can assign them to different students. And then it also allows students to practice for mastery. Then they can take quizzes. So there are a number of features that are free. Oh, yep, look at that, Micaiah. We had the same thought. There's a number of resources that are free. There are also some things that they have made free during this time through the rest of the school year. But I do want to show you a couple things. For example, like here, if maybe you're working on grammar, and you may want to look at some activities around parts of speech. So you can help students with these different areas: nouns, pronouns, conjunctions, commonly confused words, sentence phrases, and clauses. So we could look at this particular, there's 18 topics. And so anything that has a lock is part of the premium feature. But identifying the subject of a sentence, that one's free. We can assign it. We can view the lesson, identifying pronouns as subjects. The other thing is, if we look at, they also have the state standards. They also have some writing topics, and they have quick writes, guided writes. So even writing by genre. So if you want to see how your students are doing with writing a persuasive essay, so here are a number of things that are unlocked that you can explore with your students. And if we go under writing and revising in general, here are the different categories as well. You can assign, you can preview it to, is in fact something that you do want to assign to your students. And then they also have this category called featured. So what's their most popular content? And you can also explore by grade level too. So let's say maybe you want grade 8, and it gives you the idea of how long roughly it should take. And there's some practice. These are all unlocked. These are not, these are all available for use. So you can see a number of different categories that are available, which is really quite impressive. So if you're unfamiliar, is anyone already using No Red Ink? I'd love to, if you are, can you add what you think about the product and how it's working for your students, and especially how it's working in this time of remote learning? So that is No Red Ink. Another thing that's very nice about it is it does give you some data. So you can see change over time and how, oh, Michelle, you're great. Yeah, tell us what you love about it. And do you use the data collection here? Because we do want to see performance change over time. And I think that that's something that's really a very nice feature of this particular tool. So Michelle, yeah, feedback for the teacher, that's great. Anything else that you love about it that you think that we could all love to hear, please add it in the chat. Another tool for teaching writing skills is Writable. And this one is free. All of it is free through the rest of the school year. There are parts of it that are free, but what I do, again, what I want to show you with this particular one is the depth of options that are available through between Writable and No Red Ink. It's really quite amazing what you can explore and assign for your students. So for example, we can go by elementary activities, all kinds of activities that we can look for particular skills. You can see on the left side over here. Maybe you want to help them provide a strong introduction, how to organize themselves, how to develop a topic. All of these categories are here, ready for your students to do. You can create your own assignment. You can pull up one of theirs, and it shows you what standards and rubrics you can copy. You can preview it as a student. And then it does also give you some data as well, just like No Red Ink, so you can see how your students are progressing. So we can customize what type of writing we want to work on. And again, something that I really believe needs to be adding to your tech toolbox or toolkit. But, oh yes, Erin, the slides are available. Mike, can you throw the bit.ly back in? Thank you. And so here, this is another tool that you will probably want to add to your toolkit and may want to explore further, because this is a really very timely tool considering the need for remote learning. And keep in mind that it is all, see this here, free virtual learning resources. Everything is available for free. We're extending our free trial to any school that's affected through the rest of the school year. So that's really awesome. And they have a number of webinars, 600 assignments. Check it out. Anyone using Writable? Let me know, put it in the chat. And then the next one that I wanted to talk about is Writing Navigator. And this one is always free. And what it is, it's an online tool. It has components of it that are Chrome extensions that are add-ons within the Google Docs environment. But Writing Navigator takes you from planning to publishing. Completely free. It is also available as an app and a Chromebook app, web app, all of these things. And it's a suite of tools that can help students as they're planning, all the way to composing, all the way to publishing. So again, another tool to explore, completely free. Take the quick tour, launch the resources, and again, help your students become better writers. And anyone using Writing Navigator? So it looks like Writing Navigator, No Red Ink, and Writable are all new options for people who are attending the webinar today. Awesome. I would be interested to hear if anyone in particular looks interesting to you that you would be, can't wait to explore further when this webinar is over. So let's talk about, besides the things that are now available and parts of them that are completely free, let's also talk about what's readily available that hopefully you are using these kinds of resources. So the insert comments feature in Google Docs is one of the most effective, readily available tools that's already built into Google Docs. So you just insert a comment, students can respond to it. And once they resolve it, you never lose the comment history. So you can see what impact your comments had on the work that your student has done. Another one that I want to make sure everyone knows about, you probably all know about Read and Write for Google Docs, and the premium version, which is this is the premium version toolbar, is always free to teachers. But did you know that you have a voice comment feature within the Read and Write for Google toolbar? You can provide authentic feedback. Your students can hear your voice, your tone of voice. They get a better sense of what you're encouraging them to do, or you know, however you are responding to them. And the recording tool is a really powerful tool that I hope many of you are using. I had an 11th grade student once say to me, he was an interesting student. He was dyslexic. He had always been dictating to a scribe. So they realized by about 10th grade that he really had significant difficulty composing even a paragraph on his own. So we started him using Google Docs and using the insert comments feature. And then the following year he said, and I'll never forget this quote, "I'm learning as I write instead of after I write." And he found it such an effective way to improve the quality of his compositions. So how do you add an audio comment in Google Docs? Okay, I will show you. The next slide will take us there. So the Google Docs version history, I will actually show you as well. So if we open up, it's not built into Google Docs. It is built into the Read and Write for Google Chrome extension, which is right here, which is always free for teachers. So I want you to know about this. This gives you text to speech, which is a really important part of the editing process. Is letting students listen to what they've written so they can detect errors. But the audio comments feature, actually, this is an example of what it looks like. So let's see if, okay, here, actually, I will resolve that. I'll show you how to do it. So we put our cursor, we highlight whatever it is we want, and here's our normal insert comments. But what we can do now is add a voice comment. And this is what it looks like. And so I'll start recording. You're off to a fantastic start. I love your introduction. Can you add a few more supporting details? So again, we can hear it again. Obviously, this isn't germane to this particular document, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So now it doesn't seem like anything's happening, but you hopefully can see that there is some color gradations that are happening here. And what that's doing is it's getting sent out to the cloud so that then it can be inserted into the Google Doc right here. It's taking a little bit more time than usual, but we'll see how it does. Let me see. Okay, there it is. So now the student can just click on it and hear the voice comment that you have left for them. So the question is, when teachers, do the students have to have access without the premium? Yep, they do not need access to the premium version. This voice comment, it's a great question, will always show up no matter whether they have the free or the premium version. So one of the things I did want to show you, if we go back to the slides, is how students can learn so effectively and what you can learn by looking at the Google Docs version history. So I'm going to go back into that Google Doc. Does anyone use the Google Doc version history at all? Besides, it gives us the idea of who has composed, if it's a group project, who has done most of the work. But it also gives us, if I go here to version history, see version history, and let me move my chat window. So here, this is something that I created a year ago. So if I go to this down arrow here, if I go to the arrow here, okay, yes. Okay, so I can go all, oops, I was a little, didn't wait for it to open up. So here, it shows me when I started this document, so May 12th, 9:48. So it does a date and time stamp, and I can revert back to that time, and I can see, you can see right here, I can see minute by minute how this document evolved and who worked on it. So I can tell, did the student work on it at school? Did the student work on it as part of homework? But it gives us a minute by minute detail as we open up each one of these, and we can see how the document evolved, if any of our inserted comments made a difference, and it helps us to really understand the students' thinking. Yes, and it is absolutely, you can never lose everything because of that version history, but also use it to infuse your instruction and customize your instruction for your students using that insert comments feature. So A big part too is when you use these kinds of tools, because a big part of writing and when we do see meltdowns around writing is the cognitive load is perceived as too difficult for the students. So we always want to reduce the cognitive load, and we always want to encourage, especially our reluctant writers, to start with their areas of interest, fascination, and strengths. So, and when it comes to work that our students are doing, having the audience is crucial. If it's an audience of one and they're just doing it for you, as Rushton Hurley has quoted, and I really like to share this slide. If students are sharing their work with the world, they want it to be good. If they're just sharing it with you, they want it to be good enough. So when you think about publishing work, think about all of the options that are available online, even in this time of remote learning. Students can have their own blogs. They can be creating books in Book Creator. They can be, there's just a variety of ways that they can be publishing their work and for an authentic audience beyond the classroom teacher. So something else to think about too. So what are your next steps? Did you learn anything new that you might want to explore as part of remote learning from this, this quick webinar today? And if you did, please add it into the chat. And also, if there are any questions, this is a great time as we're winding up our webinar for today. Oh, good. Excellent. What did you learn? What are you looking forward to trying? Anybody want to say, yeah, that's the one thing, or that's the one thing I learned that I didn't know? Because the other thing too is sometimes with these webinars, we're all getting webinared out. If there's just one thing that you want to take out of this webinar and try it with your students within the next week. Excellent. Erin, if you didn't know about the Read and Write Chrome extension, awesome, because it is always free for teachers. And let me just show you, if you're new to that, what you can do is you can Google Read and Write free for teachers, and I'll show you how to get it. So Read and Write free for teachers is, it's right here, free for teachers, get it free, click on, oops, click on that link. I'm not sure why there's a little bit of a delay, but there is. Here we go. All right, so, and then what you do is you just need to prove that you're a teacher. You can scroll down, and if you're teaching math, if you're middle school or high school math, you may also want to get Equatio. But you just scroll down and fill out this part, and if, again, middle school and high school do both, and then you just fill out, and they just want to prove that you are a teacher. And then you'll go to the Chrome store itself and download the Chrome extension. So something to know about. Any other questions, any other thoughts as we wind down? Right on time today, Mike.
Nicely done. I didn't even give you a 5-minute warning. That was great.
Excellent. Okay, can't wait to explore. Yeah, these are really, so often we get resources for the younger students, and I really like that these are resources for really all grades. So excellent. So thank you all for joining. We do have one more on this Friday, and the topic this week will be engaging in innovative tools for promoting writing with reluctant writers. Okay, that was a little wordy. It's not really going to be quite that long, but it's all about innovative ways to reach reluctant writers. It's really a lot of awesome multimedia tools that are available. So have fun.
Awesome.
Thank you all. Stay safe, stay well. Thanks, Mike.
Karen.